has been a hot minute since I talked about makeup releases, and I really wanted to talk about some of the new ones, primarily eyeshadow palettes and also fragrance releases coming out. And most of these I do not plan on buying, and I want to tell you guys why. Hello, my gorgeous ones. Welcome to Aleisha Budget Beauty. My name is Aleisha. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, new makeup, beauty, fragrance release videos, all sorts of fun things. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. Okay, you guys, I kind of got off the track of doing these. I haven't done very many. I know they're very, very trendy. Now everyone is doing a new releases video. So why are you gonna watch mine? Well, mine's mainly I'm not buying it. So maybe it'll help you guys, not want to buy everything. I do not claim to be a no buy person. I purchase a lot of fragrance. I purchase makeup still here and there, not near what I used to, but there's just I have a much more objective view of beauty and makeup than I used to, and I think about it a lot deeper before I purchase it. So maybe that will be helpful and beneficial to you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move over a little bit so I can pop in the pictures of whatever I'm talking about over here. And I will say I got all of these pictures from my Makeup on Your Radar too. That is my friend Jamie's Instagram. So be sure and go follow her. She's my go-to. She also has codes for almost all of these brands if you ever want to save a little bit of money. So let me go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna try to do palettes first. I'm looking down at the phone, by the way, if you see me looking down, so I can look at what all I want to talk about. Then I'll do a few of the perfume, why I'm purchasing it or not. So let's go ahead and start with this CXC Labs. This is the Pro Sculpt Eyes Volume 2 palette. Now, I do think that the inspo behind this is pretty creative and cool. It's supposed to be inspired by ink cartridges. Really neat inspiration. I think that's awesome. It's very outside of the box. I will admit, when I first saw this palette, I was like, what is this? This looks very elementary. This looks like, I don't know, something that a child mocked up on, like a program at school for an eyeshadow palette. But when I heard what the inspiration was behind it, it suddenly made it cooler to me. In essence, it is a rainbow palette. I'm still not crazy about it. I think if you don't own a rainbow palette, this would be a pretty cool one possibly to check out. There are 7 cream bases across the top, and then there are 14 matte. So I do think, however, this is an interesting take on a rainbow palette, having those cream bases. It's sort of like having made by Mitchell cases, like cream cases. I own one of those, and it kind of reminds me, that top row reminds me a bit of the case I actually have, and I really do enjoy it. I don't use it near enough, and I think putting it actually in a palette, those cream bases with shadows, will get people to use it more because it's readily on their mind instead of reaching in their drawer to be like, oh, let me use a cream base this time. I certainly forget to use mine. So I think that if I didn't have that cream case from Made by Mitchell, if I didn't have several rainbow palettes, I would actually be interested in buying this palette. And if you don't have one, I think it'd be a pretty cool option for you. All right, the next one that I want to talk about is the Buxe Cosmetics, the Barely Basic palette. Now, talk about a palette that I was this close to purchasing. I cannot promise I will never purchase this palette. I really enjoy Buxe Cosmetics. I love the formula. I think the quality is great, easy to use, really pretty shimmers. Owners are very sweet. So all of that goes into my process, thought process of I'm gonna buy a palette. As far as what it looks like, to me, it is a fall neutral palette with a few special shimmers in it. And I had it in my cart. I was about to check out, and then with the shipping and even a discount code, I want to say it was like $85, somewhere around there. And I was like, Aleisha, okay, let's think, like before you hit submit, let's think about spending $85 on a palette. I'm not completely always opposed to that, but I thought, do you have these shades? When I look at the mattes, I definitely have these shades in my collection. The shimmers, I'm sure I have ones very, very similar. They may not all be in the same palette, but that made me pause and think, all right, you already have these shades somewhere else. You already don't get to a lot of your palettes. Let's press pause. And maybe if this goes on sale for Black Friday, then you could pull the trigger. If it goes down, you know, even if I could save 20 bucks on it, I'd be more willing to purchase it. But for now, it was a pass for me. The next one is actually a sneak peek that just came out. So maybe it's already up by now. I think I'm putting this up 2 days after I'm filming it. So this is the new sneak peek for Adep. It is going to be a mauve and rosy palette. Now, looking at the cover, it is like the Flying Fiddles cover. The Flying Fiddles had like the cream background with the black lace. This has like a pinky background with the black lace. So I'm thinking it's going to be very similar to Flying Fiddles as far as how it's laid out, although most Adep palettes have been the same lately, where you have the 5 mattes on the bottom and then the 2 rows of shimmers, multi, you know, shifty goodness on the top. So they've all been that way, but it must be really similar to Flying Fiddles to have the same sort of cover, in my opinion, but we shall see. I've been skipping a lot of Adep lately, and I used to have a collector's mentality with Adep, and I started pressing pause. To be honest, I'm gonna be real with you guys. One of the reasons is a little bit personal. Owner's always been nice to me in the past. It's never been rude to me. However, I definitely get very, very ignored now. Like I'm talking, I haven't had a tag viewed in my stories by her in over a year and a half. And it's just, yes, that does sometimes affect why I purchase. Does that affect why normal people who are not creators purchase? No, and it shouldn't. If you love a palette and you love a formula, who cares what a brand thinks? Buy it. But for me, someone who does a lot of content and tagging and posting, and I'm not doing it to get PR, I'm not doing it to get a pat on the back, but just even a thank you would be nice. And I don't know if I'm muted. My stuff it hasn't been seen in a year and a half. So I think, all right, I'm gonna buy this palette. What? I'm gonna do all this work and all these looks to have the brand not even see it, say thank you. That is not my only, you know, qualifying decision-making point, because I never want to be someone that only buys for brands to notice me, but it does affect my decisions a little bit. So if this palette is beautiful, I don't care, I will purchase it because I love my Adep palettes, but I've just been holding back and waiting for the next one that really, really speaks to me. So maybe it will be this one. Okay, next up we have, let's talk about this collection real quick since there's several things in this. This is the NYX Cosmetics Afterlife collection, Beetlejuice. And I'm super excited, you guys. I ordered 2 Beetlejuice shirts that are on the way. I want them here before I go see the new movie. I'm gonna take my kids. I love the original. My daughter is very, very excited because Jenna Ortega is her absolute favorite. She loves her. They have not seen the original. I thought about showing it to them and I was watching it again the other night, and just knowing my kids, I don't think they're gonna appreciate it. And then I think that's gonna piss me off. And I don't want to be mad at my kids because they don't like a movie I like. So I'm like, you know what? They don't have to see the original. I can gatekeep that and hold that to myself. And just, I think that they will like this this reboot, the continuation. So I'm very, very excited. Love Beetlejuice. I think this looks actually pretty darn cute. We have some swirly glosses in here. We have some eye patches. You have liners, the palette, the blush palette, honestly, is I think the thing that I'm the most attracted to in here. I love all 3 of those shades, that sort of mauve-y cool tone pink, that pumpkin-y orange, and then that deep kind of rusty rosy mauve blush. Those are really, really pretty. So I don't know that I will pick anything up, but if I did, I think it would be that blush palette. The next one is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics palette. It is the Little Miss She Never Misses. It is a collab with the creator. And okay, is this palette pretty? It is. Have I seen it before? A bunch of times. Honestly, it looks like a little larger palette of a bunch of other ones that I'm seeing come out. Even one I'm about to talk about here in a minute that's being relaunched, I see a lot of that in this palette. There was another one by, I don't have it, I didn't include it in this video, but Unearthly came out with one that looks kind of like a pared down version of this palette. Then you have, you know, like the Surge palette by Blend Bunny themselves. I just think at this point, I don't know, you guys. I think Blend Bunny is kind of in a rut color story wise, and I love Blend Bunny. I love my Longevity palette. Now that was one, or Longing palette is one that I was like, okay, this is like sort of what we've done before, like some similarities to like some tones in Dollhouse and things like that, but I still thought it's not a rainbow palette. It's not a deep rainbow palette. This one, the Machina palette, Surge, kind of looks like those combined. And I don't know. I just don't need it. I think the shades that interest me the most are actually the two rows on the right, the purples and the orangey reds. I'm more drawn to that than the greens and the blues, because at this point, I just feel like, man, every palette is doing the greens and the blues. I know that draws people in, but at this point, I don't know. I'm kind of just over it. So anyway, long story short, I will be passing on that one. So the one that I was talking about that kind of looks similar to me is the relaunch of the Strange and Unusual palette by Bella Beauty Bar. And talk about, again, a palette that I had in my cart a couple of hours before I started this video, because if I've ever had FOMO over not getting a palette, it has always been this one. I was so sad that I missed out when it sold out a couple of times, I think, back when it was released. Then I thought about buying it when it was back, but no one was talking about it but me, kind of like as a creator, my wheels turning. I'm like, all right, like, Am I getting it because I have FOMO? You know, will people even care if I have it? If I do a video on it, will anyone care? Then I started to have guilt about that. I'm like, you shouldn't care about views. You should just get it if you like it. So when I saw this was being relaunched with a new formula and magnetic, I was like, oh hell yeah, that baby's mine. I held out for a reason. I had it in my cart today. I applied a discount code, and basically the discount code pays for the shipping, and the total was $73, and I'm just like, $73 for 18 shades. And then I thought, okay, let's not be a hypocrite. Think about, I personally justified the Resurrection palette by Wicked Widow Beauty, and that palette was $78, and but it has 24 shades. So with a code, it comes out to $70, about the same. So it's about the same price, but you get 6 more shades in my Resurrection palette. And because of that, I didn't check out. And I may have an evening, I may have a cocktail that evening, and I may wake up the next morning and I purchased it. So I cannot say I will not purchase this palette, but as of today, I rethought it and thought that is very expensive for an 18 shade palette. As awesome as it looks and as much FOMO as I've had, as of today, I'm not purchasing it, but I cannot make promises. The next one is the Buuse Cosmetics. I have not watched the videos on this. I know some people got this in PR, so I may be mispronouncing that. They probably said it correctly in their videos, but this is apparently a sister brand to Odensai. And man, I feel a lot of things about this. So when I first saw it, my first thought was, how cute. This is so cute. It just reminds me of a little veggie patch, like cute. And then since then, I've really looked at the packaging and everything and the way that it's laid out inside. I'm like, this is some chaotic bullshit, you know? So The swatches are really pretty. The color story is fun. This is for people who like bright, vibrant makeup clearly. Anyone know Garbage Pail Kids? If you're as old as me, you probably know Garbage Pail Kids. And there were collector's cards. This is a Garbage Pail Kid palette. That is what this is, Garbage Pail Kids. And when I realized that, I was like, girl, I don't want Garbage Pail Kids on my eyes. So I don't know. There's creators out there that have videos on this. It's all the people who work with Odin's Eye. They have they don't look at any, they've got their little group. They stick with them. That's all they do. The swatches at least are on deeper skin, finally, because Odin's Eye is not great about that. Swatches look gorgeous. Hey, if you love you some Garbage Pail Kids, this is your palette. All right. The Gargoyle palette by Unearthly Cosmetics. Now, when I saw this, it was like, ooh, because I love a moody, kind of nighttimey, stormy type and cool tone palette. And getting into fall, I was like, ooh. And then I immediately thought, this looks like Culturals by Cosmic Brushes. Like, it's similar. It is very similar. Granted, I have not seen swatches. I haven't seen anyone use this on their eyes, but as far as the palette, just looking at it, it is Culturals to me. So I don't need it. It's $68. That's also pretty dang pricey. There are some other items in this collection as well. Look like liquid highlighters and lipsticks maybe. I think the cover art is freaking badass. I love it. Color story is pretty. It's just been done before. All right, so then we have a re-release of Insley Rain, Lands of Enchantment. I still have never purchased Insley Rain. I don't know that I ever will. I don't want to get into all the reasons why. Everybody knows them. I hold a little resentment for how expensive indie makeup is now because of this brand. It was never out of people's reach until this brand came, and then all the other brands use them as their example and raise their prices, and they're never gonna go back down. And I have a chip on my shoulder. Maybe it's immature, maybe I'm being unreasonable, but just on principle, every time I see them, I'm just like, it's because of you. So I believe that the formula is amazing. I've seen people's looks and I'm like, dang, why do I have to be so like righteous all the time? So I'm not buying it. If you have it, I know that your looks are gorgeous with it. All right, then I think this is the last palettes that I want to talk about. These are the last palettes. This is Cryp Cosmetics, and we have two palettes here. We have the Atlantis and Violet Crazy palette. Now, I don't think these are the best photos because it looks very kind of dusty and washed out to me. I don't know. I can tell that there's pigment there. Like I'm pretty sure there's some sort of soft lens haze thing going on. So it's probably a lot deeper than it looks. And I think out of the two, the one that I like the best is maybe Atlantis, but I don't love either one enough to get it. I think the one last year was prettier, the Burning Forest or something like that. I thought that color story was gorgeous. So maybe in the future I'll try the brand, but for right now, these are a pass for me. Now, let's go ahead and talk about a few of the perfumes. We just have a few here that I want to talk about. We have the Sand and Fog. They're came out with 6 new oils. And if you don't know, they went really, really viral. Maybe a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that. Found them at TJ Maxx forever. I bought their candles, and then I remember the first time I saw the pistachio one and there was a vanilla one in the stores. It was the oil. I was like, wait, this goes on your skin? I thought they just did candles. They went really, really viral because they are inexpensive. They're long lasting. They're strong. They project well. They're only usually $14.99. So they came out with Lychee Dream, Amber and Pear, Sweet Apple, Pear Blossom, Berries and Cream, and Coconut and Sandalwood. Now, I thought I had smelled the coconut and sandalwood before, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was a different one of theirs. These are great quality. I have quite a few perfume oils, and I forget to wear them. It's kind of like my eyeshadow singles or my cream bases is they're amazing when I wear them. I love them. I just forget to use them. So I don't think I'm going to pick any of these up, even though I do think that they probably smell great and are really nice quality. This one I want to talk about. This is the Need Auntie Anne's inspired pretzel inspired perfume, and WWD. I'm kind of confused about all the WWD, Auntie Anne's, Need. Anyway, I'm so curious. I can't really imagine that that translates in a very wearable way on the skin. Gourmands are huge and popular. I thought, well, maybe it smells similar to Creme Couture by Sniff, which I do like. That is a pretty gourmand, croissant smelling fragrance. There is a butteriness to that fragrance. There's a butteriness to these pretzels. I don't know, man. I don't know that I want like Fido chasing me down the street thinking I smell like a pretzel wanting to take a bite out of my ass because I smell like this. So I'm curious, but I need to smell this sucker just for fun. Now, Candied Fantasy by Brittany Dang Spears. You guys, this was teased several months ago. I collect her perfumes and I have been every day checking. And then I thought, Ashton Kutcher, come out of your trailer, sir. You have punked us, because I didn't see it anywhere. I was like, is this coming out or not? I finally saw that it is on Amazon, pre-order. I ordered it today and it should be delivered in about a month. So I'm very, very excited. This is bubblegum, strawberry, orange, pink hibiscus, jasmine sambac. It cuts out where I'm on here, but I know the base has, I think, like sandalwood, musk, and the cupcake accord that are in some of her other fragrances, like Original Fantasy. I'm super excited. I love her fragrances. I think they're so fun. I love collecting them and I cannot wait to get this in. And let's see, I think, oh yes, we have the Demeter Co. Play-Doh perfume. Now, I love Demeter and I'm gonna do a video. I have, I think 11 or 12 fragrances by Demeter. Very, very, very inexpensive fragrances. And a lot of the there's tons of them too. And a lot of them have a very specific, like this smells like a blueberry muffin. This smells like rain on concrete. Like they're very, you know, so Play-Doh, I'm not surprised that they came out with, and I've seen people are like, who wants to smell like Play-Doh? Who wants to? There's actually a lot of fragrances and niche high-end fragrances that have a Play-Doh sort of accord to them. So this is actually not unheard of, but it's another one like the pretzel that I would have to smell it. I don't know how well it'll go over. At least this one is cheap. So very curious about this one. And the last one I want to talk about is the Orabella Nightcap perfume. So this is the Bella Hadid line. I don't own any of the other ones. I don't know, you guys. Like I go back and forth between thinking the bottles are really, really pretty and interesting. They remind me of like The Hobbit, like the old cartoon, The Hobbit, and like the crystal. That's what it reminds me of. But I go back and forth between thinking they're cool and really stupid. Just storing wise, but this one is vanilla, ginger, and sandalwood. So it's going to be kind of sweet. It's going to have a woodiness to it, and it's going to have a little bit of like a zingy pepperiness to it is how I'd imagine this smelling. To me, this could go really, really well or really, really wrong. I do like the color of the bottle. It's one that I definitely will have to smell in the store. All right, you guys, that is it for all the new releases I wanted to talk about. Most of these I didn't buy any of the eyeshadow palettes. There's a few I'm on the fence about that I might possibly get. And then just that Candied Fantasy perfume, the rest I'm probably gonna skip on. So I'm proud of myself. Like my, my ability to really take a pause and evaluate if I want something has really improved over the last couple of years when I used to just buy everything. And I hope that this does help you guys to at least, if you like these, if you're getting every single one of them, that is awesome. But if you're someone who struggles with consuming too much, or maybe you actually you can't afford it, but you feel like you have to have it, maybe this will help you guys. You guys let me know what you plan on picking up out of these, or things that you're like, absolutely not. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping. Bye.